if you're struggling with sleep, you're talking about your immune system, it all lives in the gut. And so we start with how do you get the gut healthy and maintain that. Welcome back to another Rusty Move podcast. This is Chris Johnson. And for those of you who can't see me, for those of you listening, I am in our kitchen today at our headquarters. I'm going to talk about some things that I think many of you have been asking about, which is some of our superfoods, our super greens. So that's the conversation we're going to have today, is a little bit about some of these things we promote over the years. And years ago, if I take you back in time, I've been doing this a long time, over 37 years. But people would ask me all the time, what supplements do you recommend? And it was kind of confusing. Way back in the day, we were doing all this training at the Michigan Athletic Club. We had all these trainers and members, and our training program was doing great. But many people still are really concerned or curious about supplements. And so we started thinking about more and more the source. And I started researching, what are the 3 oldest foods on the planet? And that's interesting. Think about that for a minute. The first one is algae, which we're going to talk about today. The other one is grass. And the last one is sea vegetables. But today we're going to talk about algae and grass. And again, those are some of the oldest foods on the planet, which really creates lots of power. And so think about that. Every food on the planet originates from those 3 foods: the algae, the grass, and the sea vegetables. So I want to begin with this. Now, one of the superfoods we promote on our website, On Target Living, for those of you who are a first-time listener, but it's called Spirulina chlorella. Now, if you think about Spirulina chlorella, what it is a freshwater algae, but it's not really a food, it's a bacterium. And so as we talk about this for a second, one of the greatest benefits it does, it helps your gut health. So again, it's actually, I call it a food, but it really is truly a descriptive, is it's a bacterium. So when you think about, if you think about spirulina, it's a blue-green algae, and chlorella is a green algae. And they're different, but they're very similar. And they don't taste great. And so one of the things we started looking at way back in the day is we used to sell the powder, but the powder was a pain in the butt. It was hard to mix, it doesn't taste great. But then we thought, okay, the best way to do this is put it in a tablet form. We get it from Taiwan, we've been getting it from the same source for over 25 years. So we know where it's coming from, and it's highly tested. But the bottom line, it's very powerful. And so you say, okay, what are the benefits of taking, and really, we do have the spirulina, we do have the chlorella, but we also have the spirulina chlorella together, and the other thing I'll talk about is chlorella growth factor. But the 2 things I'll talk today about is the spirulina chlorella together. So again, they're both powerful, fantastic, but for most of you listening or viewing, spirulina chlorella is an easy way to go. It's so easy, very inexpensive, it's about 50 cents or less per day. But the benefits are incredible. And one of the big benefits is it's a natural detoxifier. It cleans our gut. So with all the gut health issues, we've had multiple podcasts recently about gut health, is understanding the power of cleaning the gut. And again, if you're struggling with sleep, you're talking about your immune system, it all lives in the gut. And so we start with how do you get the gut healthy and maintain that. So it's a natural detoxifier. That's what it does. In fact, it's a heavy metal cleanser. So one of the greatest benefits spirulina chlorella does, it helps with the gut, but one of the benefits it does, it keeps the gut or the garden clean. So it's a natural detoxifier, it's energizing, it helps with your cholesterol profile, helps improve triglycerides. So it has many wonderful benefits, and basically it's very easy, and as I mentioned earlier, it's very inexpensive. Now, chlorella growth factor is you take the heart of the chlorella and you compress it, and it basically takes about 100 pounds to make 1 pound of chlorella growth factor. So I always tell all my clients, if you're over 50, I highly recommend the chlorella growth factor. It's just more dense, it's a little more powerful, and it's a little more expensive. But again, both of these are very, very inexpensive. It's an easy place to start for most people. It's like a multivitamin on steroids. It's so simple, so powerful. And again, you can give it to your infants. You can give it all the way up to the end of life. It's really healthy for everybody. And here's the kicker. You start slowly because it's a natural detoxifier. When we do our live events, we always tell the audience, start slowly. So here's how we consume it. So the benefits are incredible: energizing, gut health, detoxification, high in nucleic acid. Again, great for the immune system. And one of the benefits I didn't really mention too quickly here is that it does so many things, but the big one is it's high in protein. So again, for those people who are not consuming animal protein out there, it's one of the highest sources of protein from a plant or bacterium in the world. So again, for those of you out there not consuming any meat, I highly recommend it for everybody, including the vegans out there. So again, with all the benefits here, now how do we do it? It's very simple. So I have a sample pack here. This is a new product we have, 250 tablets. Our bigger packages have 1,000 tablets. So again, very inexpensive, about 50 cents a day. And you start out really simple. I'm just going to open one up so you can kind of hear about it, see it. But they come in little tiny tablets. And so when I first introduce this to people, they're really concerned because I tell most adults you need 20 to 30 a day, depending on how active you are. But you start with 5 to 10 tablets a day. So can you split them up? Absolutely. So if you want to take 5 here and 5 there, but you do that for about a week or so. Let your body acclimate to it. And people say, oh, what's the side effect? You kind of know. It's a cleanser, detoxifies the body. So you start really slowly with 5 to 10 tablets. Now, if you're having a little issue, which I did when I first started doing this, I started getting rashes underneath my arms, my chest area, because the body was detoxifying. So I didn't really realize it at the time, but it's cleaning me out. So if you start feeling a little bit, you just back it down, take a couple tablets here and there, but it's very tiny. So again, you just wash it down with a glass of water. So I'm just going to I got 6 here, and I'm just going to open up my water. And again, it's really simple. And it's that easy. So the key in all this stuff is people are like, where's it coming from? As you heard us many times talk about, or if you haven't heard us, we always talk about the source. Where is it coming from? There's only one ingredient, and that's it. It's going to be Spirulina chlorella or Spirulina chlorella with growth factor, or if you want to buy the organic Spirulina or you want to buy the organic chlorella, we have that product too. But again, really simple today. I want you to start with that. So again, start with 5 tablets a day to 10 tablets. Let your body acclimate for a couple weeks. And then slowly, you might go up to 15 tablets, move up to 20. In a typical day, I do 20, 30, 40. And when I'm traveling, sometimes I'll take up to 80 a day. So again, it's a way to keep my body clean. It helps my immune system, helps that gut stay healthy. All right, the second thing we're going to talk a little bit about is one of my favorite superfoods, and that's wheatgrass. And wheatgrass is getting lots of popularity out there. But what makes our wheatgrass a little bit unique, or really unique in my opinion, it's grown in Canada. We have a 300-acre farm. We partner with Dynamic Greens. We've been working with Dynamic Greens for over 30 years. So again, great partners with us. But we get it directly from Dynamic Greens. It's shipped right to you, and it comes in a frozen ice cube. So when you think about wheatgrass, it's grown outside. This is the big difference. So listen up here. It's grown outside in the soil for multiple days. So it's not like a quick 10-day, you see that in the flats. This is grown outside for a period of time. It takes time. So what makes it unique, it's grown outside, it's in the soil, which creates lots of chlorophyll, lots of minerals. So it has more chlorophyll, more minerals, over 90 minerals. That's the most minerals of any food in the world, and that is the frozen wheatgrass. So when it's grown, it's planted in this pristine, again, there's no such thing when you talk about organic, it's beyond organic is what we always talk about. But the benefit is it grows out of the ground and it gets into a certain level, and then basically before it joints and it's cut. And when they cut it, then they juice it and then they flash freeze it. Because if wheatgrass sits around for any length of time, it can mold. Number 2, it's not pasteurized. So it has all that good bacteria in the gut for the gut health. And so if it's bought in a store, it has to be pasteurized by law. So this is coming direct from the farm to you in a frozen ice cube form. So again, the benefits are immune system, detoxifying, energizing, skin, hair, and nails. And as I mentioned earlier, it's minerals. So these are some of my top superfoods right here is the Spirulina chlorella, the freshwater algae, and frozen wheatgrass. So people say all the time, well, what does it taste like? The Spirulina chlorella doesn't taste good. That's why you wash it down with water. That's why it comes in a tablet. Super powerful. You don't taste it. If you chew the tablets once, you probably won't chew them again. So don't chew the tablets, just wash them down with water. And I have chewed them many times because I am out of water. I put them in my mouth and I don't have any water. So don't do that. The wheatgrass, on the other hand, is very clean and fresh tasting. And it tastes like grass. We had a group in here last week, and I asked the audience, how many of you like to try wheatgrass? And about 90% of the participants wanted to try the wheatgrass. And they all said the same thing. Wow, this doesn't even taste bad. It's not supposed to taste bad if it's fresh, frozen wheatgrass. So again, it has a really clean taste, energizing, great for my immune system, detoxifies my body, I was telling this, one of the greatest things that wheatgrass does, it helps retard gray hair. My father had gray hair, my brother has gray hair. I am now getting gray hair, but I think I put it off for a while, turned 65 years old in the fall. Again, it helps retard. That's what it does, it's minerals. Again, when you think of shampoos, what do they do to make your hair nice? They put minerals in shampoo. All right, so how do you take the wheatgrass? All right, so I'm glad you asked. I have it right here, and it comes, I'm gonna show it to you real quickly here. Can you imagine working for On-Target Living? You get to try all this stuff every day, or basically you have to. So it comes to your house in a frozen ice cube form. There's 20 of these. And it comes in a big styrofoam container with some dry ice, all that stuff in there. Once you get it, once you order it, you put it directly into the freezer. So when it goes in the freezer, again, it's easy to do, take it out, but it's not easy to consume. So people are like, oh my gosh, but it's not hard. Not super easy, but it's not hard. And what you do is you get the wheatgrass out of the container and then you twist it. You twist it, and again, we have videos on our website with this, but you twist it and then you pull it apart and you cut it. So you cut it, again, you pull it apart, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna drop it. I got a Tupperware container here, so those of you cannot see me, you're listening, but I have a Tupperware container that I drop the wheatgrass ice cubes in. So each morning when you get up, you don't have to frog around with it. You just take the wheatgrass ice cubes. And for most people, I don't do this. I put mine in a glass without putting it in water, but most people like to put it in water. So again, it's an easy thing. And for most adults, I recommend 3 ice cubes to begin with. So it's 3 to 5 ice cubes for most people. Again, if you have kids at home, you might start with 1 ice cube. But ideally, I like to use that word ideally, you'd put it in your gut on an empty stomach. So the first thing I do when I get up in the morning, I drink some water, and then I take my wheatgrass. So again, it's a great thing. So if you're drinking coffee, you're having breakfast, whatever you're doing, do the wheatgrass first thing in the morning. It's optimal absorption in the morning. So again, Spirulina, Chlorella, I do during the day. Wheatgrass, I do first thing in the morning. So now you've bathed your gut with high levels of chlorophyll. And all chlorophyll is anything dark green. And the darker the green, more chlorophyll. And now you're hearing this all across the country, all across the world, that Chlorella, Spirulina, wheatgrass, all high in chlorophyll, it's all good for the gut health. Well, we've known that forever. So again, understanding anything high in chlorophyll is going to be naturally detoxifying for the body. It's so simple to do. I get up in the morning. I actually look forward to it. I've had friends that have been afraid of this, and then they try it for a week and they all say the same thing. I wish I would have started this a long time ago. So again, it's amazingly healthy. We're having lots of gut issues out there. We've talked about it in our podcast. These are 2 easy things to do. Wheatgrass is a little bit more involved to start with, as you can see, and the price is more expensive. But I look at this. The investment of wheatgrass is about $2 to $3 a day. For me, I'm not a big coffee drinker. I'm not a coffee drinker at all, but invest in your health is, again, 50 cents of this, a couple $2 to $3 here. It's an easy thing that covers lots of ground, very powerful. So quick review, Spirulina, Chlorella, freshwater algae. You start out slowly, don't chew the tablets. You chew them once, you won't chew them again. Start out with 10 tablets a day, work yourself up for a couple weeks, and then slowly maybe build up to 15, up to 20, and spread that out during your day. Energizing, detoxifying, great for your immune system, high in protein. So again, you can add that to your diet. And then the wheatgrass comes in ice cube form. Again, cleansing, detoxifying, energizing, and super high in minerals. Drop it in a glass of water first thing in the morning, and away you go. So again, 2 powerful superfoods. If you have questions, just go to Onto Our Living info. Again, we have the frequently asked questions. We're coming out with some new things this fall, new classes. If you haven't listened to some of our podcasts in the past, check those out. And remember, you have the power to feel your best. I'll see you next time.